Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday talk. I'm interviewing my friend Jeff today, and if you would please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Sure, absolutely. Glad to do it. So welcome everybody. My name is Jeff Vavricek, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer at Right at Home. I've been with Right at Home for 15 years, a little over 15 years. Just had my anniversary here not too long ago, and just absolutely love it here. It's just a great organization. I love everything I do here. I got the best job in the company without a doubt.
You know,
And so what's that?
go ahead. Go ahead. I'll comment on that in just a moment.
What so just kind of high level some of the responsibilities I do. I can do all the fun stuff like budgeting and doing month end close and all the actuals and all those things that Jen loves to do, help me out. But so a lot of that stuff, and then budgeting and forecasting. I work real closely with our board, so we've got a board of directors that likes information about the company and how things are changing and what's going on. So I work closely with them. And then in addition to the finance function, I also have the IT function that rolls up to me. So all things data governance, data security. There's some tools we provide to the franchise system from a technology standpoint. So all of that kind of wrapped into what I do for my day to day.
Okay. And then just to thank you for that. My first comment is I've interviewed lots of people who are like, I have the best job in the company. So I don't think that multiple people can say that. Like, we need to decide which is the best job in the company. And second, I don't know if you saw my face, you're like, I get to do all the fun stuff. And then your list of fun things, I don't consider fun things. So that's why you are the CFO and I'm in franchise development, right? That's how that works.
How the world goes around, right?
Okay, so lucky for you, and I don't usually do this, I actually teed up several questions to ask you
Okay.
because I wanted to make sure that I get these questions asked to
Okay.
you because this list is a lot of frequently asked questions that we receive here on the franchise development team. And of course, any question that comes in from our listeners. But what I'm going to do is just start at the top of my list and then we can go down from there. So the
Okay.
very first question I have for you is, what are some of the key financial tools or resources we provide to help franchise owners manage their businesses effectively?
Okay. So I'll talk about resources for starters. We've got a team of coaches that occupy this building and actually they're on the road a lot, visiting locations, visiting franchisees, going to sometimes they're going directly to a franchisee office and working directly with them on an office visit. And I'll talk about that in just a second. Sometimes they go to what we call market meetings. So maybe in Texas, all the franchisees will get together for a market meeting because there's a lot of commonality. You know, a lot of the things that they work on are common with all the franchisees. So they get together at a hotel or whatever, have an all-day meeting. So we have a lot of coaching support that way. When a coach goes to directly to a franchise office, they go prepared, man. They go with their metrics, they go with the goals for the franchisee, and they also give a little bit of homework to the franchisee. So when they show up, they have good productive meetings. They meet the staff. They kind of understand what's working and not what's not working, and sometimes that's real evident by the numbers. Sometimes that's evident by just conversations with the franchisee to learn what's going on. So that's a really big resource. And then of course the help doesn't need to be face to face. So they have monthly calls with franchisees, or more frequently, depending on the situation, calls with franchisees to work through problems and challenges and explore opportunities. So that's definitely one thing, Jen. Another thing, kind of from a financial perspective, I mentioned that I have IT that rolls up to me. We provide what we call right focus dashboard. So every franchisee has their own dashboard. So, and this started, I think we've been doing this now for 5 or 6 years to have this tool available for a franchisee really just to be able to log in and pull up their particular business. And it's all their business. So how many applicants they had last week, how many leads they had last week, what the revenue was last week, how is their revenue tracking to their goals that they established earlier on in the year. at the end of every calendar year, we're always working with franchisees to establish what their new revenue and growth goals are for the following year. So we map it out weekly, and we keep track of that in this dashboard. So lots of different little metrics, and we have red light and green lights assigned, and yellow lights assigned to some of the metrics. So it allows the franchisee to kind of log in and see, okay, here's what's going good, what's red, what's green. And lots of times that's a focus for calls with the coaches I just talked about a minute ago, as to just conversation pieces to talk about. Here's what things that we need to work on in terms of to get the business stronger.
Okay, got it. And what is the software that is used for franchise owners to kind of organize their financials?
There's actually lots of pieces of software. I'm going to talk about the couple that are required. Every
Okay.
franchisee needs to use QuickBooks.
Yep.
So it's an Intuit program. It's a online. There's QuickBooks Online, so you're able to go, and not that I'm promoting this, but you're able to work on it at home, or able to work on it at the coffee shop or whatever. You're able to log in, and it's web based. So that's one thing. The second thing that we do, that we offer, or that we require, I'm sorry, is called WellSky, and it's an operating software. It's a company based out of Kansas City. They're a huge company, and it does kind of, I'm going to say, everything financial, and that may not be completely accurate, but it does a lot of things. Like you can there's a place for you to keep track of your applicants, and what process they're in the hiring process. You can keep track of maybe when their driver's license expires for a caregiver, I'm talking about, of course, or for when their license expires, something like that. You can also put in all your clients in there, and then you can actually match the two up. So when a client has a shift that they want somebody to come at 8 o'clock in the morning for 4 hours, then you connect that with the caregiver, and the software connects them together. And then the software is also helps out with your billing and payroll and things like that. So those two pieces of software are not only mandatory, they're critical, and we make them mandatory because we want to be able to. First of all, we provide support on QuickBooks and WellSky. So that's there's lots of reasons why we require you to use those two. The biggest one is probably just because we can support you. If there's 10 different types of operating software, we're not going to be able to help you with all 10 of them, but this one we can help you with. And that's one of the things that does happen in this organization. I talked about the coaches. That's kind of one functional area of the company. And then another one, there are support people that you can call in or send in a ticket, and able to ask questions about, how do I do this? How do I do that? I mean, it's
Mhm.
like from a business perspective, you own the business. This is the franchisees are independently owned and operated, but we're here to support you. So if you have a question on how you do payroll, how you do billing, how do you enter in a caregiver, or how do you complete shifts or whatever, you're going to have those questions certainly at the beginning, as you first start. So we will help you with that. We've got a team of people that does that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. And while you were answering that question, a question came into the Q&A box, and I'll read it to you. And I may be able to take a stab at this one first, and you can certainly chime in if you'd like to.
Okay.
It says, do you assist franchisees helping them find funding to pay the franchise fee and onboarding costs? And my answer to that would be, we have a list of partnerships, financial institutions that
Yeah.
several of our franchise owners have used, that we can certainly send your way so that you can vet each one to see if you want to obtain financing of some kind. We certainly recommend that you shop around, and we'll give you some recommendations on who to contact.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for this actual resource and you're working either with Melanie or Jenna as your development director, ask them for that list of financial providers, and they'd be happy to provide that list. Anything you'd
Perfect.
like to add to that, Jeff?
No, I think that's just completely it. It's provide you some tools to help you along the way, but we don't
Yeah.
have there's not a right at home bank here. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yep. Okay. Perfect. All right. Next question here on my list. Let's see. How about this one? What are some of the biggest financial risks you monitor in the home care industry and how we prepare for them?
Okay. So, kind of in terms of business risk, one of the things that we're always concerned about, so the delivery of our business, the delivery of the care is done by caregivers.
Mhm.
So the caregivers are the face of the business. So without those caregivers, without people to do the work, you're not going to be able to get the revenue and you're not going to have a good, strong business.
Yeah.
So that is one of the risks that we focus on a lot. And the risk is not so much, is there going to be somebody that will work for you, but it's like, how do we get stronger applicants through the door? How can we help you do a better job with retention? How do we, again, increase that supply and increase the quality of the caregiver so that the service that you're providing is top notch? Because again, you think about it, uh, you as a franchisee, you're going to be out, you're the face of the business. So you're going to be out talking to discharge planners, talking to the rehab facilities, talking to people in your community. And we'll teach you all this when you come in for our training, but teach you
Yep.
how to network and how to be the face of your business and establish your own brand in the business. Uh, that's a super important step. The equally important is once you get that client and you go out and you meet with the family and you say, okay, we're going to start Tuesday morning and caregiver is going to be here 8 hours a day. That's a really important step too, because that if they don't think they're getting good care from that caregiver, if the caregiver shows up late, if fill in the blank, there's lots of things. It's a big risk. So we are big on helping find ways to help you fill that funnel, that pipeline funnel of caregivers. There's initiatives that we do. There's initiatives that we have to help increase the quality of the caregivers. We have a whole suite of training lessons that's online that you can pick and choose from to have caregivers go through, so they can be skilled up in different areas, like whether it's med management or whether it's bathing or whatever. There's lots of training that we can do to help out with that. So certainly that's one risk. Um, I think that we're again, and we kind of do the same thing on the client side. So from a financial perspective, we want to help out with clients. We establish partnerships
Mhm.
for with different companies to try and help that founder in. But again, your biggest opportunity is really advocating for yourself and your own community by being your own brand.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And here's this next question. I may take a stab at this one first, and then you can certainly answer as well. It says, and I want to make sure that I'm reading this correctly. So if I read it incorrectly, whoever asked this question, please clarify if I'm incorrect. It says, do you provide ratios on how many clients to caregivers so you know what should be invoiced versus wages for caregivers to be profitable? So I would answer that question by saying, once you become a franchise owner, so you sign your franchise agreement, you've funded the franchise fee, you instantly start working with what we call your Right Start onboarding manager. And so this individual, along with a fleet of subject matter experts, SMEs or SMEs for short, working alongside your Right Start onboarding manager. So as you start to, you select an office space and you're getting everything ready to go, and you're getting ready to make that first hire for your first caregiver, what to pay that caregiver. Because of joint employer, we can't really say, hey, this is what you need to pay the caregivers. You'll certainly want to do your research on what is the average rate for a caregiver in your area. Of course, you can reach out to fellow right at home franchise owners. One of the many things I love about right at home, we have a great community of franchise owners that help each other. So you'll definitely want to connect with your neighboring franchise owners to ask them, what is the average hourly rate that you are paying your caregivers so that you are within the average of your area? And it varies all across the United States. And then, of course, you're going to put together goals with your Right Start manager. Once your business is open, we want to reach a certain level by X date. And if there's any adjustments that need to be made, like, okay, we need to hire more caregivers, we did get out there and find more clients. Perhaps we need to adjust the bill rates. Perhaps we need to adjust, the pay rate for the caregiver. So your coach is going to help you with all of those things, would be the way that I would answer that question. Jeff, do you have anything to add to that?
I think everything you said makes sense. I'm going to take it a little different angle and maybe get a little more granular. One of the things that you'll do when you come here for training, it might be before you come in for training. I can't remember if it's right before or right after, but it's call your competition, and it's do some calls to your competition, uh, mystery calls, where you would ask, what do you charge? Here's my mom needs help. She needs care. How much do you charge? And try and get a baseline for what in your metropolitan area, what the going rate is for home care. And you're going to get a big range, but
Yep.
it's not as, I can't just say it should be $35 an hour, for example, because it's going to be different depending on what part of the country you live in. So step number one is to get a feel for what the competition is charging. And then part of the exercise in here, you will hear this number a million times if you become a franchisee, and that's a 40% gross margin. So we will walk you through how to calculate a gross margin. So you can just start out with, you think this is what the bill rate is. This is what you think that you're going to pay the caregiver, and that's based upon a couple different things. Uh, and there's other things that go into that, like your work comp insurance and FICA taxes and things like that. So there's like 3 or 4 things that enter into the expense side to calculate gross margin, and then the bill rate's the other one. So once and again, we walk you through this, so you don't need to take notes right now. But the
Yep.
bottom line is when if you think the you know if when you put your numbers in there and you don't have a 40% gross margin, we're going to say, okay, you need to go back to the top and start over. What needs to change? Are you paying too much to the caregivers? Or are you not charging enough? A lot of times, like at the work comp insurance and things like that, there's not a lot of flexibility in that. There's certainly no flexibility in FICA. So that's kind of the circle, if you will. And we think that's really important for you to walk through, because that's really something you do, I hate to say every day, but maybe every week, like in your mind, every time, because you're going to be given, just fast forward through your first year, you're going to give a raise to a caregiver and for doing a good job, and you're going to hire a new one and wages go up. So it's not like this is a one and done thing. It's a constant, like, okay, where am I at? And
Sure.
then on your financials and your QuickBooks, it's going to show what your gross margin is too, that allows you to monthly keep track of where that's at.
Okay. Thank you. Another question came in.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to hear what your answer is, because I'm pretty sure mine would be the same. It says, how long are most franchisees open before they become profitable?
So that number does vary. Like and that number does vary based on the franchisee. And one of the things that makes it vary so much is some franchisees take a salary right away on day one, pay themselves 20,000 a year, pay themselves 100, whatever the number is, they pay
Yep.
themselves. And obviously that makes a big difference as
Yeah.
to when you have a break in profitability. So
Yep.
that does vary.
Yes. Yep. And I would say it depends, right? And another way to say it is
Yeah, yeah.
it varies. And that is a very truthful answer. It varies from franchisee to franchisee. Each location is different from the next. What franchise A is doing to build and grow their business is going to be different from this franchise owner over here. So we don't have any average specific time frame, because it varies so much from franchise owner to franchise owner. But rest assured, we are going to help you, once you get your business open, establish those KPIs and those goals to reach. And then we will constantly measure against those goals and work with you on reaching those goals. So unfortunately, both of our answers are, it will vary. And of course, you can connect with Jenna or Melanie to talk more about that and to dive into a little bit deeper on that.
Yep.
And then also another thing I do want to mention, if you are in the franchisee validation part of the education and approval process, that's a great question to ask our franchise owners when you make those phone calls.
Okay.
How long did it take you before you were profitable? And you're going to get varying answers, but that's the best resource for you to get that information from versus myself and Jeff.
Yep,
No offense, Jeff,
yep,
but
yep. No, I agree. I agree. No, that's a
okay,
good point about the validation. That's
yes,
talking to other franchisees when you get to that step is just super helpful. So you'll learn a
yes.
lot.
Yep. Okay. So next question on my list. Um, and this is a frequently asked question that we get, Jeff. So without sharing specific numbers, what are some of the indicators you look at to assess the health of a franchise location?
So since I already talked gross margin, that's definitely a top three. What is your gross margin? This may be too common sense, but top line revenue. So what's
Yeah.
revenue doing? And we'll give you some metrics to kind of measure against your peers as you get established. But how are you growing year over year? What's your growth look like in your top line revenue? From a CFO, I'm always looking at the expenses. So what, total operating expenses, what are they looking like? Uh, and especially as you've been in the business for some time, you can kind of compare those year over year. How's my payroll changed over the years? How's my insurance expense changed over the years? Some of those you have multiple levers that you can pull to kind of control them, and some you may not. But at least understanding where they're at and building your margins appropriately makes sense. Uh, the biggest one I think is, or certainly one of the biggest ones is your bottom line. So how profitable are you? We're constantly aware that our business owners need to be profitable to build a good business and stay in business, keep the doors open. So uh, those profitability margins are so important to us. And we do things like, I know Jen mentioned performance groups earlier, and without getting too deep in them, it's really kind of a mini board of directors for your own franchise company where you can hold each other accountable and look at each other's numbers, and you meet 3 or 4 times a year with this, kind of like a board would meet. And these performance groups really help you and help you your peers help you see where there's maybe strengths and opportunities in your business. So I mean, it's really a great opportunity. But the reason I'm bringing that up is that's a really big focus of the performance groups is how can we help you as a franchisee get that best bottom line profitability.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Let's see. Next question here. All right. So you mentioned earlier you've been with Right at Home for 15 years, and happy anniversary, by the way. What would you say is your favorite part about working for Right at Home?
You know, I
If you had to list just one, Jeff.
Well, what we do, well, what we do for a living, right? It's the service that we provide to people. It's incredible. So it's providing care for the elderly is so noble, and of course, it's a for-profit company, and we want franchisees to make money. I just talked about that, but the care that we provide, the lives we change, and I'm talking about the people that we serve, the lives we change, the stories we hear from franchisees who have caregivers that might speak at a funeral or whatever because they find they make such strong relationships are always really incredible. So I think that's number one. It's just it's such a great it's such a great company from a kind of a feel good standpoint, but I mean, it's a great industry. It's a growing industry. There's so many opportunities. So I just really feel lucky to be part of it. I came from banking and actually liked banking, or I thought I did until I got here. And this is just so much, banking is just credit cards and mortgages and it's kind of boring. This is fabulous. So I really love that.
So, okay, great. And then I ask everybody this question. What advice would you give to someone who's considering a Right at Home franchise?
Do your homework. I mean, really I mean, we're an open book. So, I would like go check our competition out, call our competitors, go visit them if you feel it makes sense, but certainly find a good fit. Make sure you feel comfortable with the organization that you're teaming up with. There's so many more things than is the territory that I want to open that's because it's where I live. I mean, there's so many more things than that. So feel good about the company, feel good about the culture. Talk to other franchisees. We talked a little bit about the validations. That's what I mean about talk to other franchisees. Ask them about us. I mean, we're good. You know, I'm biased. I think we have a really good franchisor set up here, but ask them about ask them about the coaches, ask them about the performance groups, ask other franchisees about how we perform as a franchisor. All part of the homework that you need to do to make a good decision, because we want you to make a really good decision, feel good about it. That's how it's going to be best for both you and us. So
Yes. And I will add to that, and we say this often, that we acknowledge you have a lot of choices when it
yep,
comes to, partnering with any franchise, whether it's senior care or non-senior
yep,
care. Um, but at the end of the day, this is a two-way street. So of
yep,
course, you're going through this education and approval process, and we're assessing you for fit, if you will. But we also acknowledge that you, as the future franchise owner, are doing the same. So
yep.
we want to be the best fit for you as much as we want you to be the best fit for us. So I agree. Do your homework, do your research, all of the things that Jeff said, and you're going to have your development director guiding you along the way. Okay, so before we part ways, do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
I think this is just a great business. It really is, but it's a lot of work. So it's always one of the things I like to talk about. Like when I meet new franchisees or potential franchisees, I always ask, have you talked to other franchisees and do you know how much work it is? It's not a 9 to 5 job. The phone's not going to ring off the hook with people that won't care. It's going
Yep.
to, like I said this earlier, you're going to have to get out, establish your brand. We've got a great brand. Right at Home is a great brand. We got TV commercials, we got all those things, but still, it's still up to you to be completely successful to establish that brand in your own local metropolitan area. So definitely, uh, definitely focus on that. But it's a wonderful business, and I think it's again with the demographics the way they are, I think it's going to stay a wonderful business. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there for those who want to tackle it. So I think it's
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity.
Yes. I agree. And I thank you so much for taking the time to do this, Jeff. I know you're a busy guy, so I appreciate you taking the time. And I know that our listeners do as well. And let's do this again sometime soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenny.
Okay,
I
have a great
appreciate it.
day. Goodbye.
All right. All right. Bye bye.